Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Happy Saturday to all of you. Yes, I'm all bundled up. Check this out, ladies and gentlemen. Look at this. This is the coldest that it's been here in years during this time of the year. Look at this. What is that? This is showing -40 right outside my bunker. And inside the bunker is 52 degrees. So let me go ahead and give a quick shout out to my little heater that could right there. You see that? That's a little electric heater that I have on, and it's keeping it at 52 degrees in here so far without me having to turn on my propane heater. And that's just fine. The reason I'm staying bundled up is because my heater went out. It gave me a code of fuel blockage. Well, I had to bundle up. I had to go outside, spend several minutes outside seeing if I can find out what was wrong. I had to troubleshoot the problem. I knew that we had plenty of fuel in the tank because I had just filled up the tank less than a week ago, knowing that we were going to go into this 2.5, 3 week cold spurt. Right. Anyways, I went outside to check, make sure that the tank had plenty of gas, which it did have plenty of fuel. I went and checked to make sure that there was no blockage in the exhaust coming out from my Toyo stove, which is what heats my house, and it was fine. I made sure there were no kinks in the fuel line, and it was fine. So I went back inside the house. Oh, in addition to that, I went ahead and I poured one of those the yellow bottles of heat. I poured one of those into the tank just to make sure that if there was any blockage in the line, that hopefully that would help to clear it out. All right, I went in the house and I started checking around my heater, and when I checked the back, because if there's blockage, you can also unblock the exhaust from the inside as well. So I just checked to make sure that there was nothing crimping it or anything like that. Everything was right, but I did see one thing, that the inlet for the fuel was about encrusted in about a ½ an inch of ice all the way around. So this is what I think happened. All right, all of that just to tell you what I think happened. You know, when you put a soda, let's say a bottle of soda, into the freezer, and when you take it out, it's still liquid inside, but as soon as you open it, it turns into slushy because you're hitting the ambient temperature of the air, the warmer air, with the real cold liquid, and it turns into slushy. Well, I think that when it gets this cold outside, that's the same thing that happens to the fuel right in between the outside of the wall and then when it enters the warm space inside the house of that pipe. It just slushified there. So what I did was I put a small heater right up on it, blowing warm air onto it, and then after about half an hour or so, that little block of ice was gone. It had dissipated, and it almost sublimated into the air because it didn't leave a little pool of water. It just went away, right, with the warm air hitting it. And then I went ahead and turned it on, and it turned right on. Right. So knowing how to troubleshoot systems during times like this, where it's really, really cold, or even in extreme heat weather as well, is something that you need to learn how to do as a homeowner. And not only learn how to do it, ladies and gentlemen, when things go south, but have a good interpretation of how your systems work before the fact. Now, let's get to the news. Texas is telling this administration, this is our state. We will not give up our land. As they say, come and take it, and defy orders that have been given to them via the federal government to allow Border Patrol to go in there and reopen the border, or the section of border that they've closed up using concertina wire. And let me just go ahead and say this. I think we talked about this during yesterday's live stream, but shame on those people within the Supreme Court that said that it's okay for the federal government to waste taxpayer dollars by undoing something that a state government has seen fit to protect their own people. But I digress, ladies and gentlemen. You know, sometimes people get upset when I talk about, listen, there's not much that we can do. These are cycles, and what's going to happen, it's going to happen. Let me go ahead and talk to you about why I named this video what I named it. When misguided public opinion honors what is despicable and despises what is honorable, punishes virtue and rewards vice, encourages what is harmful and discourages what is useful, applauds falsehoods and smothers truth under indifference or insult, a nation turns its back on progress and can be restored only by the terrible lessons of catastrophe. And that is why we have to prepare, because I believe that this quote is right on the money. And this here says it all. It is very difficult for human nature to change. Strong men make good times, and good times make weak men, and weak men make hard times, and hard times make strong men. And then it returns back to the beginning, and it repeats itself once again. Nature will not allow us to just get away with everything that's happened in the last several decades. We are going to have to pay a price. The initial euphoria is fading fast and is being replaced with shock and horror of what comes next. And sure enough, in the biggest show of resistance to date against Milei, look at them protesting. Why? Because he is inducing austerity upon the country. Austerity means that he's cutting everything that doesn't need to be there. He's making government smaller, and people are suffering. But he told them, hey, listen, there's going to be a period of suffering. Why? Because you can't just walk away from everything that's been done wrong in the last 5, 6, 7 decades without some suffering. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is what will happen if somebody gets in office here that wants to fix the problem and not just paper over the problem. There will be a period of suffering, and that is why you must prepare. Do you think that if everyone down here that you see in this crowd right here, do you think that if they had 6 months worth of food, a year's worth of food, and emergency savings, etc., 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 if they were prepared, that they'd be protesting like this? They would be able to think if they were prepared. Preparing allows you to think. And then they would be like, yeah, this is what we have to go through in order to fix our nation. But these people more than likely probably are not prepared, and they are used to getting handouts from the government. It's just that they probably still have not learned that in order for the government to give them something, that it has to steal it by force from someone else. Well, it seems that our government is currently giving away a lot of money, just not to Americans. Utility bills in America hit record highs as heating a home becomes a luxury. And I can tell you that about 2 years ago, probably 2.5 years ago, the price of heating fuel here in the area that I live in, Alaska, was less than half of what it is now. I believe heating fuel right now, which is not bad comparatively speaking to what it's been in the last year, is about $3.27 per gallon if you pick it up yourself, okay? About maybe 2.5 years ago, heating oil was about $1.65. So a little less than half of what it is now. But I believe that energy has found a new floor. People are now going to be happy with paying what they're paying for gasoline now. Because you can see gasoline has gone down a little bit in the last few months, but it's still a lot higher than what it was 2.5 years ago. It's found a new floor. But just wait until that next round of inflation hits, and you're going to see that people are actually going to have to go without food in order to maybe be able to heat their homes. And here it says that a new report reveals that U.S. household utility debt hit a new record high as a disturbing number of Americans can no longer afford to heat and cool their homes without taking a loan. Hey, but at least we're not putting that much CO2 in the air. 1 out of every 6 taxpayers is currently behind on energy bills. Residential utility debt also hit a new record high last year of $20.3 billion. The hardest hit states as far as energy bills go include New York and Michigan. As of September 30th of last year, more than 7 million households in these 2 states are on utility bill assistance. You will be hungry and cold, but you must pay for free health care for illegals, wrote one commenter on a news story about all of this. Another person who lives in Illinois, on the dividing line for all of the snow that has been dropping in recent weeks, says a local propane supplier there is putting customers on cash-only deliveries because of how bad things are getting. Local businesses are getting hammered, this person added. Auto insurance, property taxes, homeowner insurance, groceries, medicines, etc. is going through the roof. But people still can't look at themselves in a mirror and say that 3 years ago things were a lot better. But let's not go ahead and get into that right now, ladies and gentlemen. So I digress. As I've been telling you, ladies and gentlemen, for years, there's no such thing as two political parties. They are two wings of the same bird. Arizona GOP chairman resigns after being caught trying to bribe Kari Lake to stay out of the Senate race.
Is there a number at which
I can be bought?
not be bought?
That's what it's about.
You can take a pause for a couple of years.
No.
And then go right back to what you're doing.
No. 10 million, 20 million, 30, no. A billion, no. This is not about money. This is about our country. I think it's disturbing that they would even, that anybody would think this is.
No, to be fair, even me, I'll say this. I want a fresh face right now. For the reason that I've never seen anyone, I can't think of a single person in a federal race who's lost, ran into one. I can't think of it. If you can think of it, let me know.
I'm not going to let these people who hate our country tell me not to run. You should call them and tell them to get behind me. So what's going on? What is, I'm assuming this is our friend.
This is back east. There are very powerful people that want to keep you out.
I know they do.
But they're willing to put their money where their mouth is in a big way. So, this conversation never happened.
This is crazy though. They should want me. I'm a great cat.
I always leave the link to all of these articles so you can come back and revisit them. There's still probably about a good 4 minutes of this interaction left. And ladies and gentlemen, shame on this person who has turned his back on the American people in order to serve someone else. That's all I have to say about that. And this is not about pro-trans, anti-trans, or any of that kind of stuff, but this serves as a good lesson, ladies and gentlemen, that it is we the people who have the power. And it seems that in Ohio, the people said no more. And they took away the power that their own governor had over them. Even though the governor vetoed, they came back and said, no way, we do not want this, and forced his hand into making the right decision for the people. And that's going to be it for today's news. A lot of these we can go into a lot more, ladies and gentlemen. You all know me. I can talk, but I don't want to get too excited. It's too cold out there, and I still have a lot to do. I have to try to recover a video that I spent hours on editing yesterday, and it was coming out really good, and then the system decided to crash. So we're going to go ahead and call it at that. I will be putting out a cool video that I had a lot of fun doing out in negative 40-degree weather tomorrow, so you can be on the lookout for that. It should be up already for our Patreons and our club members. And let me go ahead and show you this really quick, just in case this person is watching. Miss Alyssa, you are the winner of the OUPES 1800, so please make sure that you contact me at this email below. One winner, chicken dinner, 2@gmail.com. Please don't anyone else email me with intel or questions to that email address. There is another email address under the description for those things. This email address right here is just for someone who's won something so that I can get their information in order to get it sent out for them. God bless every one of you. God bless America. I'm Alaska Prepper. I am out. Stay toasty out there, ladies and gentlemen. And ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that have not checked out my website, go to thealaskaprepper.com and it will take you to my new website. It's about a month or two old, and we've already had a lot of people come and check it out. But if you come here, it will show you all of the partners that partner with the Alaska Prepper community. And in addition to that, it also has all of the videos that I've put up thus far. It has merch, which is not active yet. So if you try to buy some of this merch, it's not going to go through. There's something that I have to do on the background that I have to figure out. But I just think that this is pretty cool stuff. I definitely have to get me one of these shirts. I hope they have them in XXL large. And you can also join the newsletter, ladies and gentlemen, where I will be sending you a newsletter every once in a while, whenever there is a need to. Don't worry, I'm not going to be sending you 5 newsletters a day or even a week. I haven't even sent one up yet. I will only use it whenever I have to communicate with you something that's pretty important to let you know. And using the video function is just as easy as clicking on it. Same thing as just as easy as clicking on any of our partners. And ladies and gentlemen, these are partners that I have because I believe in their product and I think that they're good companies. So if you're looking for freeze-dried foods, Nutrient Survival is the very best. Why? The most nutrition dense food in the market, period, and it tastes great. You all know that I love OUPES because they give back to the community in a big way, and they produce a product that is very good and at a good bang for your buck. Everyone needs clean water, and that's why I champion Simpure, not only because they produce a good product, but because most people can actually afford to buy this, and that's important. Clean water should be number one in your life every day. Hybrid, you know that I love flashlights, and hybrid lights makes a good, robust flashlight that will last you forever, ladies and gentlemen. Take a look at the video that I did with the budget flashlight compared to the hybrid flashlight, and take a look at the abuse that I put the hybrid flashlight through, and it still works. Contingency medical, if you don't have your antibiotics put away just in case. 4 jars for those of you that like to pressure can. They have everything that you need. ITM Trading for wealth preservation. If you want to support what I do, you can do it where it costs you $0. Just use my Amazon link to buy what you were going to buy anyways. And of course, if you want to beat ESG and buy American when you can go ahead and switch with AP, where they sell a lot of the things that you buy at big box stores, just made in an American company with American workers, ladies and gentlemen, and American parts, by the way. So come and check out the site. If anything, it will be somewhere that you can go to in case something happens to YouTube. Other than that, again, thank you very much for all of your support. God bless every one of you, and God bless America. I'm Alaska Prepper. I'm out.